Over 3 million USD for a single fish. You heard that right. When it comes to bluefin tuna, every slice of meat can be worth more than gold. But how do humans manage to harvest and process thousands of tons of this blue gold every year? It all begins with daring offshore expeditions or cutting-edge floating farms in the open sea, where massive bluefin giants are carefully fattened, awaiting the moment of harvest. Once caught, each tuna is processed and deep frozen right on the vessel, then shipped across oceans to specialized factories. There, with ultra-low temperature technology and precision cutting lines, frozen tuna fillets are born, ready to become premium sashimi on the world's finest dining tables. Today, join Agriculture Insight on a journey from ocean to table, where every million-dollar slice carries the raw power of the sea. All will be revealed in this video. In the world of tuna, the bluefin reigns supreme, a true ocean legend holding countless mosts that set it apart from the rest. With a torpedo-shaped body and swimming speeds of up to 70 km per hour, second only to marlins and swordfish, paired with extraordinary endurance, these giants can migrate across the Atlantic or Pacific Oceans, covering thousands of kilometers without rest. Beneath those powerful muscles lies deep red flesh, rich in myoglobin, the ocean's equivalent of Wagyu beef. Each cut is graded by fat content, with otoro, the buttery melt-in-your-mouth belly, being the most prized, fetching hundreds of dollars for a single slice of sashimi. Japan is currently the largest consumer of bluefin tuna, accounting for over 80% of global demand. Meanwhile, Spain, the United States, Mexico, and Australia play leading roles in catching and fattening these majestic fish. Though bluefin makes up less than 1% of the world's total tuna catch, it brings in a staggering 2 to 3 billion USD annually, making it the backbone of the premium seafood industry. Right now, join me on a thrilling chase between fishermen and the giants of the sea. Trust me, what you're about to witness will keep your eyes glued to the screen. Every June, as offshore waters begin to warm with the shifting currents, bluefin tuna fishing fleets spring into action, marking the start of the most vibrant harvest season of the year. To ensure a successful catch, fishermen must understand the migratory patterns and preferred environmental conditions of this prized species. Bluefin tuna are typically found in deep waters, with temperatures ranging from 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. Areas rich in oxygen and teeming with baitfish like sardines, herring, and squid. The golden hours for casting lines are usually at dawn or dusk, when the tuna move closer to the surface and feed most aggressively. But out in the vast open ocean, one pressing question remains. How do you locate these elusive giants? With lightning-fast speeds and a tendency to dwell in deeper layers, bluefin tuna are notoriously difficult to detect. That's why fishermen rely on a combination of age-old wisdom, such as reading unusual currents or tracking seabirds diving for prey, and modern technology, including advanced sonar systems capable of detecting movement deep beneath the waves. Each bluefin tuna purse seine expedition begins with meticulous preparation, and bait is the first key to success or failure. On board, live bait tanks, usually containing sardines or herrings, are carefully monitored for temperature and oxygen levels to ensure the bait fish remain healthy and active. Before deploying the net, fishermen scatter small clusters of baitfish into the sea to attract schools of tuna, creating optimal conditions for an accurate and effective net deployment. Once the location of the tuna school is confirmed, the main vessel initiates the encirclement. A smaller auxiliary boat tows the massive purse seine net in a circular motion around the school. These nets can stretch from several hundred to over 1,000 meters long and reach depths of 150 to 200 meters, enough to block the horizontal and vertical escape paths of the fish. The net is equipped with floating buoys at the top and weighted leads at the bottom, forming a sealed wall of water. Once the encirclement is complete, a drawstring at the base of the net is pulled tight, closing it like the mouth of a giant bag, trapping the entire school of tuna inside and preventing any escape. After hours of patient waiting, the sea erupts in a golden moment as the once still water inside the net suddenly surges with movement. Immediately, the crew rushes out and begins hauling in the tuna using specialized gaff hooks, tools specifically designed to safely bring each fish on board. Bluefin tuna are known for their ferocity and immense strength. Many continue to thrash violently, even when pulled close to the surface. Smaller or medium-sized fish can be handled by a single person. But when it comes to the true giants, weighing 200 to 300 kilograms, at least 2 fishermen must work in perfect coordination, keeping the line tight and lifting the fish decisively. In cases where the fish is too large, they maneuver it alongside the boat and use a specialized harpoon to strike precisely at the back. A technique that secures the fish while protecting the prized belly meat from damage. Every move is made with care to ensure the highest commercial quality. In some regions, fishermen also employ mechanical aids like cranes or pulleys to lift the tuna directly onto the boat for transport. Once the battle ends, the sea returns to calm, and the vessel continues its voyage, carrying a deck full of prized catch. Another common method used by fishermen to catch bluefin tuna is longline fishing. This technique involves deploying a main fishing line that stretches for several kilometers, with hundreds or even thousands of baited hooks attached along its length. These hooks are set at optimal depths to trap schools of tuna right in their natural hunting zones. Longline fishing for bluefin tuna requires live bait that swims naturally to entice the fish to bite on its own. Bluefin are highly sensitive and will only strike if the bait has no unusual smell and moves realistically. Sardines, mackerel, and anchovies are carefully hooked to preserve their natural motion. Artificial or frozen bait is only used when live bait is unavailable. Once the location of a tuna school is identified, fishermen begin releasing the main line, which spans several kilometers and carries hundreds of branch lines baited with live fish like sardines or mackerel. The bait is deployed at depths of 50 to 200 meters, where bluefin tuna typically hunt. The entire setup process is carried out quickly and precisely, resembling a well-planned ambush in the deep ocean. After several hours to half a day, the crew returns to haul in the line. If successful, they'll find massive bluefin tuna, each weighing hundreds of kilograms, gleaming silver in the sunlight as they dangle from the hooks. Once a tuna takes the bait, the retrieval process must be handled with extreme care to avoid spooking the fish, which could lead to violent thrashing, hook loss, or snapped lines. As the massive body of the fish emerges from the water, fishermen quickly secure it by harpooning the upper body or gaffing it through the gills, avoiding the belly where the most valuable cuts of meat are located. The team then works in sync to haul the tuna on board. Immediately afterward, the preservation process begins. The gills are cut and the internal organs removed to lower the body temperature and prevent bacterial growth. Crushed ice is then packed inside the cavity to chill the fish from the inside out, followed by a thick layer of ice covering the entire body on deck. This on-the-spot chilling is the key to maintaining peak freshness, vibrant color, and premium sashimi quality, until the fish reaches the world's top chefs. In Japan, bluefin tuna are typically transported directly to renowned fish markets like Toyosu. The fish are lifted from the boats onto cold concrete floors, tagged with identification labels, traceability codes, and auction numbers to ensure transparency. A high-quality tuna can fetch anywhere from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of USD depending on its fat content, size, and flesh color. After the auction, the tuna are taken to on-site processing areas within the market. Filleting a tuna here is not just a technical task, but an art form that demands precision and deep knowledge of the fish's anatomy. First, the craftsman slices off the tail to inspect meat quality, then removes the head and gills. The body is divided into 4 main sections, 2 back loins and 2 belly loins, with the belly, otoro, being the most prized for its rich fat content. Further cuts remove the skin, tendons, and excess fat, leaving behind perfect sashimi-grade fillets. For top-grade bluefin, otoro can sell for $300–500 per kilogram at the market. In high-end restaurants, even a small slice of otoro sashimi can cost $20–50 or more, depending on its richness and rarity. In addition to fresh auction sales at the market, a large portion of bluefin tuna is frozen immediately on board to serve export demands. This is a crucial solution to meet the enormous global appetite for bluefin, especially for the frozen sashimi market. Large export vessels function as mobile freezing factories, equipped with ultra-low temperature freezers that maintain conditions below 60 degrees Celsius. When the ship docks, each tuna is hooked onto cables and lifted ashore, then immediately transferred to specialized refrigerated trucks with deep freeze compartments. The entire process is closed and continuous to prevent thawing, which would compromise product quality. At the processing plant, frozen bluefin tuna is transferred directly into deep freeze storage, maintained at temperatures below 60 degrees Celsius until it's time for processing. When the handling process begins, crates of tuna are retrieved using specialized forklifts and moved to the cutting area. There, the fish is placed on a conveyor belt, where workers stand ready to precisely separate the valuable cuts of meat. In the rough cutting zone, industrial bandsaws with vertical blades are mounted on reinforced metal tables. Workers, dressed in protective clothing and thick rubber gloves, carefully push each fish through the saw. First, the head, containing mostly bone and little meat, is removed and cut into smaller sections for separate handling. Next, a lengthwise cut from head to tail divides the fish along the spine into 2 halves. The section near the gills, which contains more blood, is removed to ensure hygiene and meat quality. Before filleting, frozen bluefin tuna is passed through an industrial grinder. The high-speed rotating blade removes dried blood, frozen fat, and surface ice, preparing the fish for perfectly precise sashimi cuts in the next stage. Each half is then further divided into 4 equal portions called loins, the most prized cuts, ideal for sashimi and sushi. Finally, these large loins are cut into standardized rectangular blocks, ready for packaging and sorting according to export specifications. The entire process is fast, yet extremely precise. Just a few millimeters of error can significantly reduce the value of the meat. From ancient offshore hunts to modern dining tables, bluefin tuna now face the threat of extinction due to overfishing. Species like the southern bluefin tuna have been listed as critically endangered, prompting international organizations to tighten regulations for their conservation. In response to this crisis, farming bluefin tuna has emerged as a necessary yet highly challenging solution. These fish are long-distance migrators, slow to reproduce, and notoriously difficult to rear in captivity. Nevertheless, countries such as Japan, Australia, and Spain have developed successful fattening models. Juvenile wild-caught tuna are transferred into offshore sea pens and raised for 6 to 12 months before harvest. These massive circular cages, some measuring dozens of meters in diameter, are enclosed with strong nets to prevent escapes and protect the fish from predators. The model helps stabilize supply, maintain meat quality, and ease pressure on wild adult populations. Every day, supply vessels approach the cages to deliver feed, typically frozen sardines or mackerel, chopped and pumped into the pens via rotating nozzles or specialized feeding tubes. Feeding is carefully monitored in terms of timing and quantity to track the tuna's growth, fat content, and flesh coloration, ensuring they meet sashimi-grade standards before being sold. When the tuna reach a weight of 100 to 200 kilograms, harvesting begins, though it must comply with strict quotas since the initial stock still relies on wild-caught juveniles. While farm tuna are generally priced lower than wild-caught ones due to less complex flavor and texture, they continue to meet high export demand worldwide. The journey of the bluefin tuna ends in deep red slices of sashimi, rich, refined, and full of character. Yet this is merely a small cut from the ever-evolving tapestry of global cuisine. Behind every dish lies a world of challenges, change, and hope. And as this journey comes to a close, perhaps another is quietly beginning, full of promise and possibility. The United States ranks only 6th in the world for octopus catch volume, behind China and several other coastal nations. Yet it's the country's network of advanced processing plants, stretching from California to Rhode Island, that truly surprises the world. Hundreds of tons of freshly caught octopus are handled daily with near-perfect precision, rapidly frozen, and exported across 5 continents, turning the U.S. into one of the most sophisticated octopus processing powerhouses on the planet. The octopus is a creature that sparks both fascination and confusion. What most people mistake for its head is actually its body, housing all its internal organs. And its mouth? It's located right in the center of its arms, used to bite and feed, and sits alarmingly close to the anus. As if that weren't strange enough, when mating season arrives, male octopuses don't reproduce in the usual way. Instead, they use a specialized arm called the hectocotylus to deliver sperm into the female's body, sometimes detaching the arm entirely in the process. Gentle in appearance, the octopus is in fact a true predator of the deep. Armed with 8 powerful sucker-lined arms, it wraps tightly around prey, restrains every movement, and then pierces through crab shells with its sharp, beak-like mouth. When threatened, it releases a dense cloud of black ink, creating the perfect smokescreen to vanish in the blink of an eye. Each year, the world consumes over 3 million tons of octopus, and much of that is caught using traditional methods, by trap. Not with trawl nets or massive industrial vessels, but with millions of ceramic or plastic pots dropped to the seafloor by fishermen, mimicking the rocky crevices octopuses love to hide in. In offshore fishing grounds across the Pacific, especially in Japan, South Korea, and the US West Coast, small boats set out as early as 2 or 3 a.m. Octopuses are solitary creatures that hunt at night and retreat to shelter at the first light of dawn. If the traps aren't retrieved in time, they slip away, leaving only empty pots behind. Each boat may carry between 500 and 3,000 traps, operating continuously for days at sea. And this isn't just a hunt for seafood. It's a strategic contest with one of the ocean's most intelligent creatures. In Japan and several coastal regions of China, an ancient method of octopus fishing is still practiced, using a single fishing rod with a sharp hook. No bait, no traps, just a swift jerk of the hand when sensing the subtle pull from the depths. As soon as the octopus breaches the surface, fishermen immediately stab a metal hook into its body and haul it straight onto the deck, because even the slightest delay could see the creature slip away and vanish into the night like a ghost. It may look simple, but this technique demands lightning-fast reflexes and a firm grip, since a fully grown octopus can weigh up to 10 kilograms, slippery and fiercely struggling. What's more, the octopus has no bones. Its body is so flexible it can squeeze through a gap the size of its own eye. That makes holding onto it once it's hooked not just a challenge, but an unforgiving duel between man and one of the ocean's greatest masters of disguise. In the Mediterranean, where deep blue waves kiss ancient coastal villages, many fishermen still rely on traditional octopus fishing using set nets, a method that has lasted for centuries. Long nets are quietly laid out along rocky reefs at night, waiting for unsuspecting octopuses to wander in during their hunt. While not the most efficient, sometimes hundreds of meters of net yield only a few octopuses, tangled with seaweed, small fish, and ocean debris. This method has one major advantage. The octopuses are often still alive and healthy when the boats return to port. This ensures optimal freshness as they're sent directly to processing facilities. And so, despite the rise of modern technology, many coastal communities in the Mediterranean remain loyal to their time-worn nets, preserving both tradition and the essence of the sea. Leaving behind the blue ocean, they embark on a new journey, entering a rigorous processing chain inside modern factories, where cold steel machines transform these intelligent marine creatures into finished products ready to reach the world. Upon arriving at the factory, the first step octopuses must undergo is pre-processing, a crucial starting point in the entire modern handling chain. Each octopus is placed on a workstation where workers manually remove inedible parts, such as the ink sac, internal organs, eyes, and the hard beak located between the arms. This stage is carried out entirely by hand with meticulous care and high precision, aiming to preserve the natural shape and ensure the meat structure remains intact, a key factor in the final product's quality. After the initial pre-processing, the octopus is sent directly to the washing area for thorough external cleaning, preparing it for the next in-depth processing steps. Living close to the seafloor, octopuses often hide in rock crevices, coral, or sandy caves, so their bodies are usually covered in mud, sand, algae, and a protective slime layer. If not properly washed, these impurities can affect both the quality and flavor. That's why this rough cleaning step is mandatory before any further treatment. The octopuses are transferred to a specialized spinning washer, where cold water and centrifugal force work together to remove most of the slime and debris on the skin. This device functions like an industrial seafood washing machine. Octopuses are placed into a spinning chamber, where high-pressure cold water continuously sprays while the chamber rotates, stripping away the sticky layer and contaminants. On average, each cycle can clean 150 to 200 kilograms of octopus in just a few minutes, equivalent to the output of about 15 to 20 workers operating manually. However, due to their many deep grooves and suction cups, slime often remains in areas the machine can't reach. At this stage, workers must hand scrub each octopus using a specialized soft brush, focusing especially on the spaces between tentacles, where bacteria tend to accumulate if not thoroughly cleaned. On average, one worker can clean about 80 to 100 octopuses per hour. This is not just a hygiene step, it's a meticulous, repetitive, and highly precise process. After washing, the octopuses are sorted by weight and size, usually divided into three main categories: under 500 grams, between 500 and 1,000 grams, and over 1 kilogram. After sorting, the octopuses are divided into two main processing directions. Larger ones continue to the boiling and freezing line, while the smaller ones, often referred to as baby octopuses, are taken to the tray packing area. Here, workers carefully arrange each baby octopus into stainless steel trays, with their heads and tentacles aligned in the same direction to form neat, organized rows. Once neatly arranged, the trays are sent straight into the deep freezing chamber. Inside, the temperature is rapidly reduced to below -35 degrees using advanced cooling systems, freezing the octopuses within 1 to 2 hours. This process locks in freshness, preserves the original shape, and inhibits microbial growth. After freezing, each tray is separated, and the octopuses are vacuum-packed in PE bags, passed through a metal detector for food safety, then boxed, labeled with traceability info, and stored at Bini 20, ready for export worldwide. For larger octopuses, post-harvest handling isn't as straightforward as with baby octopuses. Instead of being frozen immediately, they must undergo an important thermal bath, parboiling at 95 to 100 degrees Celsius for several minutes. This step is key to preserving firmness, shape, and color. Skipping it could result in mushy, bland flesh with no elasticity, greatly reducing commercial value. Under near-perfect temperatures, the meat firms up, retaining its moisture and natural sweetness. Then comes the magical transformation. In just a few minutes of boiling water, the octopuses turn from pale gray to a vibrant reddish pink. This color shift isn't due to dyes or tricks, it's a natural biological reaction. You're probably familiar with boiling common seafood, but have you ever wondered why this strange phenomenon happens? Immediately after boiling, the octopuses are plunged into a deep cold water tank for a thermal shock, a crucial step that instantly halts the cooking process, preserves firmness, and prevents overcooking. Without this step, residual heat would continue to cook the meat from within, breaking down the protein structure and resulting in mushy texture and loss of elasticity. From the cold tank, the octopuses move onto a drainage conveyor, where tiny grooves and a stream of cool air help dry the surface quickly and evenly. This preparation step is essential before packaging, as excess moisture can negatively impact both flavor and shelf life. After being perfectly boiled, the bright red octopuses are quickly transferred to the preliminary packaging area, where every operation takes place in a strictly sterile environment. Here, workers carefully arrange each octopus into specialized golden trays, ensuring they lie neatly without bending or overlapping, preserving their elegant appearance like a true culinary artwork. The trays are then wheeled straight into a cold storage room, where the temperature is consistently maintained between 0 and 2 degrees Celsius. This isn't just refrigeration, it's a resting phase that allows the octopus meat to reach optimal texture and freshness, ideal for sashimi slicing or final stage packaging. In the final stage, modern industrial systems take over. Whole octopuses and separated tentacles are placed into form-fitted trays, then pass through a high-speed vacuum sealing and film wrapping line. This all happens at lightning pace, thousands of trays per hour, ensuring that every product meets strict hygiene standards, comes with traceable origins, and is ready to conquer premium supermarket shelves and the world's most demanding markets. In the cold depths of the ocean, the octopus is a quiet, eight-legged creature, masterfully camouflaged along the seafloor. But in the vibrant world of street food, it takes on an entirely different identity, familiar, enticing, and full of charm. From smoky, char-grilled octopus skewers infused with satay aroma to golden takoyaki balls whose crispy shells give way to a creamy center with springy bites of octopus. Each dish delivers a surprising encounter between ocean mystery and urban flavor. No longer a shadowy creature of the deep, the octopus becomes the star of bustling night markets, a humble ingredient with the power to win over even the most discerning palates. If Norway is considered the salmon capital of Europe, producing a staggering 55% of the world's farmed salmon, with massive sea farms spanning hundreds of hectares in icy waters year-round, then the United States is the most advanced salmon processing powerhouse on the planet, where high-tech factories from Alaska to Maine operate around the clock, shaping the global salmon supply chain. Tuna often appears in everyday meals, from sushi to convenient canned products, known for its rich flavor and firm, meaty texture. Salmon, on the other hand, is celebrated for its exceptionally high omega-3 content, buttery soft flesh, and remarkably low mercury levels, making it a safe and nutritious choice for both young children and pregnant women. Salmon around the world mainly comes from two sources, wild and farmed, with over 70% of current production originating from coastal farms in cold water regions. Wild salmon travel thousands of kilometers to spawn before ending their life cycle, while farm salmon are raised under conditions as precise as a laboratory. Two very different journeys, yet both contribute to the creation of a global culinary icon. Every August, when salmon fishing season reaches its peak, the waters off Nollesen come alive. Fishing fleets line up, slicing through the waves in search of what many call the silver treasure of the sea. When the radar detects a school of salmon beneath the icy surface, the crew springs into action, deploying massive nets that form a wide arc, slowly tightening to trap the entire shoal in a giant pocket. A single haul can bring in up to 20 tons of salmon, nearly 40,000 fish thrashing in the morning light, spraying water across the deck like a shimmering storm. The ship vibrates with life, rumbling engines, rushing water, shouting crew, all blending into a floating factory at sea. To preserve freshness, the fish are immediately transferred to chilling holds kept near 0 degrees Celsius, slowing biological breakdown and locking in texture and color for hours at sea. Once ashore, these silvery harvests continue their journey to cutting-edge processing plants. For top-grade salmon, destined for sashimi, worth tens of thousands of dollars per ton, the journey may take to the skies. Some shipments fly direct from Norway to Tokyo within 36 hours, arriving just in time to please even the most demanding sushi connoisseurs. However, faced with an increasingly brutal journey of survival, salmon have gradually been guided by humans into farms, through artificial waterways engineered to replace the wild. Each spawning season, they leave the ocean and swim thousands of kilometers upstream to return to the very river where they were born. They battle fierce currents, leap over roaring waterfalls, all to complete their life cycle. But nature has never been gentle on this journey. As they leap up waterfalls, they often come face to face with the infamous brown bears, patient predators lurking at the base, waiting to strike the moment a fish breaks the water's surface. Those that survive it all, the female digs a nest in the cold gravel, the male fertilizes the eggs, and both die in exhaustion. Though each fish can lay thousands of eggs, nature is unforgiving. Only about 1 in 1,000 offspring survive, grow, and are lucky enough to return to the sea and continue the cycle. That's why humans have created an alternative path, where nature is recreated through high technology. In freshwater zones near estuaries, dams and artificial fish ladders not only help the salmon bypass obstacles, but also serve as checkpoints for health and behavioral monitoring. The strongest fish are selected and transferred to specialized tanks, where every condition, from temperature and oxygen to water flow, is precisely controlled, preparing them for the most crucial phase, the collection of eggs and milt, launching a new life cycle under human guidance. In the wild, salmon fertilization is a fierce battle among males, a tense showdown where only the strongest wins. But in fish farms, the process is far more gentle. The only thing the salmon have lost is the chance to choose their own mate. The female is placed on a processing table, where a gentle incision reveals rows of plump, amber-colored eggs, neatly aligned like strands of deep-sea pearls. Depending on the species and size, each fish carries between 2,000 and 10,000 eggs. At the same time, the males are handled with care to extract their milt. Within just 30 to 60 seconds after the eggs are harvested, the sperm must be mixed immediately in a clean, clear tray, free from blood or impurities, as even a single drop can ruin an entire batch. If delayed, the eggs will dry out and lose their ability to be fertilized. While in nature, less than 1% of fertilized salmon eggs survive, in the controlled environment of a hatchery, that success rate can reach up to 90%. The fertilized eggs are immediately transferred into specialized incubation trays, placed within a flowing water system that gently mimics the cool, clear streams where salmon were once born. The water temperature is carefully maintained between 10 to 12 degrees Celsius, refreshingly cold and crystal clear, just enough to awaken the dormant spark of life within each fragile shell. After about 2 weeks, tiny eyes begin to appear inside the eggs, a subtle yet miraculous sign that life is slowly awakening. Around day 45 to 60, the young salmon break free from their shells, entering the sac fry stage, carrying a yolk sac under their belly that sustains them through their first few weeks without the need for food. Once the yolk is absorbed, they transition into the fry stage, where they begin swimming, feeding, and adapting to the flow of water. They are then moved to larger rearing tanks, where every environmental factor is carefully controlled. When they reach about 5 centimeters in length, they're known as fingerlings, still small, but already bearing the shape of mature salmon. At this stage, the process of saltwater acclimation begins. Salt is gradually added to the water, like a gentle reminder of the vast ocean that awaits them. As young salmon grow and begin to take on the distinct shape of a migratory fish, they are moved to brackish water areas near river mouths, a natural transitional environment where fresh water mixes with saltwater, helping them adapt more easily. Salmon are such voracious eaters that they almost never turn down a meal. Their daily diet consists of compact, nutrient-rich pellets, made from fish meal, fish oil, soy, and various minerals. Each pellet is packed with everything the fish need to grow quickly and develop that signature reddish-orange flesh. On average, each salmon pen consumes around 2 tons of feed per day. Notably, feed accounts for 50 to 70% of the total cost of salmon farming, making portion control a critical factor for every farm. Even a small miscalculation in daily feed allocation can result in financial discrepancies of tens of thousands of dollars each month. Unlike wild salmon harvesting, which depends on migration seasons and open sea fishing, farmed salmon can be harvested in a much more controlled and proactive manner. Once they reach the ideal weight, typically between 4 and 5 kilograms, the fish are guided into an automated grading system to check their size and health condition. Qualified individuals are then pumped directly onto harvesting boats or transferred to onshore processing facilities. The entire process follows a fixed schedule, ensuring a stable, year-round supply without relying on nature's timing. And now, let's step inside the processing plant, the moment we've all been waiting for, where thousands of fully grown salmon are turned into premium food products. Before being filleted, female salmon are carefully examined to harvest their eggs, a key ingredient used in the production of premium caviar. After being extracted from the fish, the roe is transferred to a specialized washing system to remove blood, membranes, and impurities. Ultra-fine spray nozzles gently clean off the outer mucus without damaging the delicate membrane of each egg. The salmon roe is then transferred to brining tanks, where a salt solution is gently stirred by soft paddles in a steady circular motion, allowing the salt to evenly penetrate each egg. Salinity, temperature, and timing are strictly controlled to firm up the eggs, bring out a beautiful amber hue, and preserve their naturally rich, briny flavor. Once brining is complete, the roe moves to the final inspection station, where bright white lighting helps technicians detect any broken, cloudy, or underperforming eggs. The final product, shimmering, salted pearls, is portioned into specialized tins by automated dosing machines, packed precisely in 200 or 500 grams. Then the tins are chilled and neatly stored, ready to deliver a taste of the ocean to dining tables around the world. And the journey still doesn't end there. Entering the filleting stage, the pinnacle of salmon processing, each fully grown fish is passed through a modern fillet machine. High-speed rotating blades simultaneously remove the backbone and split the fish into 2 symmetrical halves, all while preserving the freshness and integrity of each muscle fiber. For smoked salmon products, the skin is intentionally kept, acting as a natural shield for the meat in the steps that follow. Next, an automatic bone removal system takes over, using ultra-precise clamps to extract any remaining pin bones. The fillets are then scanned by optical sensors that assess color, freshness, and texture. Any pieces that don't meet the standards are instantly removed from the line. Yet few people realize that the vibrant orange color often seen isn't natural. Freshly caught salmon usually has pale pink or deep red flesh. To achieve that eye-catching hue, many factories use carbon monoxide gas, an industrial makeup that keeps the fish looking fresh long after processing. So the real question is, how can you tell if a piece of salmon is truly fresh and not just fresh-looking? At this stage, the salmon is ready to enter the smoking line, the final step where raw fish is transformed into one of the most refined delicacies ever crafted from the ocean. It all begins with salting, a process that may seem simple, yet plays a decisive role in shaping the final flavor. There are two common methods: dry curing, where fine salt is evenly sprinkled over the surface of the fish, allowing its natural moisture to draw the salt inward, and wet brining, where the fillets are soaked in a saltwater solution, typically containing 3 to 5% salt, depending on the desired curing time. Both techniques aim for the same result: to reduce moisture, enhance the natural saltiness, and build a flavorful foundation for smoke to cling to and penetrate deep into the flesh. Once ready, the fish is placed on trays or hung on metal racks inside the smokehouse. Oak, maple, or cherry wood is gently smoldered, releasing thin, warm streams of smoke that weave through each fillet, infusing it with the subtle aroma of both wood and thyme. Depending on the intended product, smoking can last anywhere from 4 hours for a lighter flavor to 24 hours for a richer, deeper profile. With smoked salmon, thyme is the secret seasoning, a slow and deliberate process where technique, ingredients, and human intuition blend together to create a dish that carries not just flavor, but traces of fire, smoke, and memory. When the smoking process comes to an end, the salmon has fully absorbed the essence of fire and wood, ready to enter its final stage: packaging. Each slice is placed into a vacuum sealing system, where all air is removed to preserve its moisture, texture, and the delicate smokiness that has gently permeated the flesh. From chilly processing facilities in the far north, smoked salmon begins its journey, traveling thousands of kilometers to reach dining tables in Tokyo, Paris, or New York. It's more than just food. It's a culinary voyage, carrying with it the essence of the sea, the warmth of wood smoke, and the craftsmanship of human hands. The journey from tiny seed to supermarket shelf involves an intricate process, with harvesting being one of the most critical stages. The onion's journey begins in the fields. After months of care and growth, the onions signal they're ready for harvest. How do farmers know? The tops of the onions, those long green stalks, begin to yellow and fall over. This is the plant's way of saying, "I'm done growing, pick me." Timing is crucial. Farmers need to act quickly but carefully to ensure the onions are at their best. Too early, and the onions may not store well. Too late, and the risk of rot or pests increases. In the good old days, onion harvesting was labor-intensive. Workers armed with hoes and shovels would dig up the onions by hand. While this method ensured minimal damage to the onions, it was back-breaking work, and it took a lot of time. Fortunately, technology has revolutionized the process, making it faster, more efficient, and less physically demanding. Today, American farmers use cutting-edge machinery to harvest onions. These machines are a marvel of engineering, designed to handle the task with precision and care. Here's a closer look at the stars of the show. Onion windrowers. Windrowers are the first machines to hit the fields during the harvest. These mechanical marvels loosen the soil around the onions and gently lift them out of the ground. The onions are then laid in neat rows, called windrows, on top of the soil. This setup allows the onions to cure in the sun, drying out their outer layers and preparing them for storage. Windrowers are designed to minimize damage to the onions. They use adjustable blades to cut through the soil, ensuring a smooth lift without bruising the bulbs. After a few days of curing, it's time for the onions to be collected. Enter the onion harvester, a machine specifically designed for this task. These harvesters scoop up the windrows, separating the onions from any remaining soil and debris. The onions travel up a conveyor belt, where they're cleaned and sorted. The harvester gently removes dirt and loose skins, leaving behind a shiny, healthy crop. Depending on the size of the operation, some harvesters even have built-in grading systems, sorting onions by size right in the field. Tractors and trailers. Once harvested, the onions are loaded onto trailers pulled by tractors. These trailers transport the onions to storage facilities or directly to processing plants. The process is seamless, ensuring the onions remain fresh and intact throughout the journey. The use of modern machinery in onion harvesting offers numerous benefits, transforming what was once a labor-intensive process into a highly efficient operation. Machines like onion windrowers and harvesters streamline the harvesting process by quickly lifting onions from the soil, cleaning them, and sorting them by size and quality. This reduces the need for manual labor, saving time and cutting costs for farmers. Additionally, these machines are designed to handle onions gently, minimizing damage and ensuring a higher percentage of the crop is market-ready. Technology also improves consistency, as machines can work tirelessly and precisely, regardless of weather conditions. Tractors and trailers further enhance efficiency by transporting large quantities of onions from the field to storage or processing facilities quickly. Overall, the use of advanced machinery increases productivity, reduces waste, and helps farmers meet the growing demand for onions while maintaining high quality. Once the onions are harvested, their journey is far from over. The next stop is the processing facility, where they undergo a series of steps to prepare them for market. The first step in the factory is cleaning. Onions arrive with dirt and debris from the field, so they're given a thorough wash. Next, the onions are sorted. Advanced sorting machines use cameras and sensors to inspect each onion, sorting them by size, color, and quality. Only the best onions make it to the fresh produce section of your local grocery store. Some onions are destined for further processing. These are sent to specialized machines that can peel hundreds of onions per minute. The machines use a combination of steam and mechanical peeling to remove the outer layers quickly and efficiently. Once peeled, the onions are cut into various shapes and sizes, depending on their final use. Some are diced for frozen food products, while others are sliced for use in pre-packaged meals. The final step is packaging. The onions are packed into bags, boxes, or containers and labeled for distribution. Onions are more than just a kitchen staple. They're a vital part of the American economy and culture. The onion industry generates billions of dollars annually and provides thousands of jobs. From farmers and factory workers to truck drivers and retail staff, onions support a wide range of industries. They're also a significant export, with American onions enjoyed in countries around the world. In American cuisine, onions are everywhere. They're a key ingredient in countless dishes, from classic comfort foods like meatloaf and casseroles to gourmet creations at high-end restaurants. Onions are packed with nutrients. They're rich in vitamins, antioxidants, and compounds that support heart health and boost the immune system. From seed to supermarket, the journey of an onion is a tale of hard work, innovation, and a little bit of magic. American farmers harvest millions of tons of onions each year, using cutting-edge technology to ensure a smooth and efficient process. So the next time you chop an onion and feel a tear roll down your cheek, remember the incredible journey it's been on, and savor the flavor it brings to your meal.